Good evening and welcome to TVM News. Today is Wednesday, November 30th. I'm Esperanza Gutierrez.
And I'm Christy O'Neill. This week we bring you updates on the Ohio State University shooting, the latest happening at Marywood, Marywood's basketball home opener, and more.
Many changes are coming to Marywood's college to resolve financial problems with the release of the Strategic Resource Allocation Report yesterday. Marywood President Sister Mary Persico released the report to the community about future plans regarding changes to academic programs, college structure, and job positions. 9 campus positions will be eliminated by December 2nd, with job severance plans offered to those affected. Starting in August of next year, the 4 colleges that make up Marywood-University will be reduced to 3, and many academic programs will be eliminated or merged. And programs with low numbers of students enrolled in the major will be changed to minor programs. No current Marywood students within these programs will be affected.
Marywood is one step closer to completing the accreditation process. The Middle States visiting team came to campus 2 weeks ago and said Marywood met all standards for accreditation, but does not guarantee the university accreditation, according to the Dean of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Francis Zahar. The accreditation process includes multiple steps before the documents and accreditation process are complete.
Learn about and celebrate your First Amendment rights with Freedom Week. On Monday, there was a free speech wall in the Learning Commons lobby. There will be a State of Press Freedom panel presentation tomorrow night at 7 in the Comerthor Theater, where local and campus journalists discuss the major issues surrounding press freedom in 2016. For more information, look for flyers on campus or check out the Facebook page Freedom Week.
The annual liturgy and holiday dinner is scheduled for Sunday, December 4th. The dinner is free to all Marywood students who RSVP. The liturgy will take place at 4:30 p.m. in the Marion Chapel, and the dinner will be held in Nazareth Hall. Shrimp, scallops, prime rib, and gourmet desserts will be on the menu with ice sculptures and more. Sign-ups are available online.
The 2017-2018 academic year, Marywood-University's Office of Military and Veterans Services will offer a new 1-year acceleration AFROTC program. This program will be available for veteran college seniors, graduate and master degree students. This program will allow students to complete the program in 1 year instead of the typical 4 years. Students will commission as a second lieutenant at completion of the compressed AFROTC program with a guaranteed full-time job as a leader in the Air Force.
Well, with more holiday events, the annual Marywood tree lighting is only a week away. This decade-old tradition is celebrated each December by Marywood students, faculty, staff, and alumni. The giant Christmas tree first found its home in the rotunda in 1982. Each year, the men and women of Marywood's Buildings and Grounds Department set up the gigantic tree. The ceremony is accompanied by prayer, ornament presentations, refreshments, and performances from Marywood's chamber singers. The Marywood community will be united in holiday spirit at 4 p.m. in the rotunda on Wednesday, December 7th.
Up next, we have Mackenzie with the latest events happening on campus. Stay tuned after this break.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to TVM News. With just 2 weeks left of school, let's check in with Mackenzie for the latest events happening on campus.
Are you stressed from studying for finals? Tomorrow, Peers on Wellness is hosting a de-stress event for the end of the semester. Students can make their own ornament, decorate and eat gingerbread cookies, and enjoy hot chocolate and tea from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Learning Commons. Last weekend, the Maxis Gillet Service Scholars teamed up with Campus Ministry to bring Thanksgiving dinners to local families. TVM's Bethany Wade has the story.
Over 150 families have a Thanksgiving dinner thanks to Marywood volunteers. The annual Thanksgiving Adopt a Family drive came to a conclusion on Saturday as several volunteers packed up the bags of donated food to give to local families.
We've been doing it so long I can't even remember the number of years we've been doing it, and I'm here 30.
Campus Ministry assembled 101 bags to be donated, while various clubs and organizations also took part in the drive, assembling 52 bags of their own. Along with Sister John Southwick, the freshman Maxis Gillette Scholars helped to organize the drive over the past 2 months.
We contact Wegmans, make sure we're getting all the food and everything. We advertise for volunteers and people to drive and sign up and help with the event, and just little stuff like that that you wouldn't really think of behind the scenes.
Just for our students to go out and see how grateful these families are for what we can give them, which isn't all that much, but it's important to them.
For TVM-News, I'm Bethany Wade.
After attending next Wednesday's Christmas tree lighting ceremony in the Liberal Arts Center, take a break from studying and fill up on a free breakfast, donuts, and tater tots at Flapjack Fest. Head over to the Nazareth Dining Hall from 8 p.m. until midnight. Student activities will have free t-shirts and a performance from Marywood's a cappella group. That's all for this week. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Mackenzie. We're going to be right back after this short break.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back to TVM News. In the late hours of Friday, November 25th, the former president of Cuba, Fidel Castro, died at the age of 90. Castro led the communist revolution in Cuba that overthrew a corrupt regime. Backed by the Soviet Union, he would maintain leadership of his country and would survive 11 U.S. presidents, several of whom embraced policies to eliminate him. Castro would witness a decline of communism in Cuba, as well as an improvement with the U.S. that saw President Obama visit in May of 2016. Something that had previously been thought to be out of the realm of possibility. Due to poor health, Castro stepped aside in 2006. Fidel Castro held on to power longer than any other living national leader except for Queen Elizabeth II.
Investigators have identified the suspect in the attack at Ohio State University Monday morning. They say he was an 18-year-old man of Somali descent driving a car registered to a family member. 9 people were injured and taken to the hospital. One of them is in critical condition. CNN's Kim Hutcherson has the latest.
Monday morning at Ohio State University in Columbus, the warning came. Active shooter on campus. Run, hide, fight. The campus went on lockdown as police and SWAT teams rushed to the scene. Students and employees sheltered in dorms and classrooms, blocking the doors with whatever they could find. They distributed images of what they saw on social media and spoke to news organizations from their hiding places.
It's very hectic here right now. There's like 40 cop cars. Everyone's very frantic, and all the SWAT teams are getting together, and cops are still pulling up.
Before noon, the shelter-in-place alert was lifted. Witnesses began recounting what they saw.
It's not supposed to happen. Sorry. We barricaded ourselves in our rooms like we were taught. Turned off our lights, and just hunkered down.
And authorities started piecing together details of what happened.
A male suspect drove a vehicle, struck pedestrians. He exited the vehicle and used a butcher knife to start cutting pedestrians. Our officers was on scene in less than a minute, and he ended the situation less than a minute. He engaged the suspect, and he eliminated the threat. The suspect is DOA.
Now, officials are trying to determine a motive for the horrific attack. I'm Kim Hutcherson reporting.
A U.S. service member was killed by an improvised explosive device in Syria on Thursday. The death marks the first time a U.S. service member has been killed in Syria since special forces were deployed there in 2015 to fight ISIS. The incident occurred some 30 miles north of ISIS' self-declared capital of Raqqa. U.S. officials say operations to take the city from ISIS will begin soon. An estimated 300 service members are currently operating in Syria. Beyond Thursday's death, 4 U.S. service members have been killed in Iraq fighting ISIS. The battle against ISIS in its Iraqi stronghold of Mosul is already underway.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says it has no plans for forcible removal of protesters who have been camping in North Dakota to protest the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline. The Corps says it's in a statement last Sunday that it is seeking a peaceful and orderly transition to a safer location. The Corps notified tribal leaders last Friday that all federal lands north of the Cannonball River will be closed to public access on December 5th for safety concerns. The Corps says that anyone on the property north of the Cannonball River after that date will be trespassing and subject to prosecution.
Mindful of the result of the recent presidential election, environmentalists are increasingly concerned with President-elect Donald Trump's business dealings. Trump's 2016 federal disclosure forms show he owned between $15,000 and $50,000 in stocks in the Texas-based Energy Transfer Partners, which is the company constructing the controversial Dakota Access Pipeline. The $3.7 billion project would cross 4 states and potentially change the landscape of the U.S. crude oil supply. Environmentalists and Native American protesters believe the pipeline could greatly contribute to man-made climate change while also infringing on the rights of the indigenous people. At least 2 other possible candidates for Energy Secretary in his incoming administration could also benefit from the pipeline.
A 2-vehicle car crash involving a wrong-way driver has left 3 people dead and 5 others injured in Missouri. Now authorities are investigating why one of the drivers was going the wrong way on the interstate. Kelly Hoskins from CNN reports.
The fatal accident happened around 2:30 Sunday morning, leaving 3 people dead and 5 others injured.
We had a 2004 stop. It was driven by a Robert Batson of Sullivan, Missouri, 26 years of age. He was traveling eastbound in the westbound lanes of I-44 right at the 236-mile marker.
The preliminary report indicated that Baston was driving the wrong way on the interstate when his vehicle struck the left corner of a 2013 Toyota. Authorities say the collision sent Baston's vehicle off the left side of the interstate and stopped in the median cables. The Toyota was carrying 7 friends and family members from Plano, Texas. The Toyota was driven by 32-year-old Susma Setapalli. Both Setapalli and Baston died along with a 2-year-old boy in Setapalli's vehicle. Investigators say it appears most of the people in Setapalli's vehicle had their seatbelts on. However, it's still unclear if Baston was wearing his.
3 dead, a couple more severely injured, and also a couple passengers with minor injuries. We're still trying to figure out why Robert Batson of Sullivan was driving the wrong way on the interstate this morning. So we did reconstruct it, obviously, and now the challenge is going to come to find out why he was driving the wrong way and kill these people.
Well, that's all this week for National News. When we come back, we'll have the 7-day weather forecast and the latest updates in Marywood sports, all after the break.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to TVM News. What does the rest of this week's weather forecast look like? Let's check in with Sam to find out.
This is Sam Dowenhauer with your 7-day forecast. Today, more than an inch of rain accumulation and some mild breeze with a 10% chance of a thunderstorm. The current high is 59 and the low is 45 degrees. Tomorrow, December will start mostly cloudy with some winds from the southwest. By nighttime, the clouds will have dissipated. The high will be 49 and the low will be 37 degrees. On Friday, the winds will continue with some sun early in the morning, but the clouds will return before long with a 15% chance of rain. High of 47, low of 35. Saturday will be mostly cloudy all day with small sporadic showers in the morning and wind coming from the northwest. High 43, low 31. Sunday, more clouds with brief periods of sun in the morning, accompanied by sleet and freezing rain later that night. High 42, low of 28. Monday, prepare for heavy rain in the morning and snow in the evening with a high of 44 and a low of 31 degrees. Lastly, on Tuesday, some freezing rain in the morning, which should taper off by nighttime, but it will still be quite cloudy. The high will be 44 and the low will be 32 degrees. So make sure you have your gloves and ice scraper for your windshields. This has been your weekly weather forecast. Now back to the desk.
All right, thanks, Sam. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the latest in Marywood and national sports. We'll be right back.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
every day across America. Excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Thank you for tuning in to TVM News. Here's the latest highlights with John and Brennan on Marywood Sports.
Sophomore guard Gabby Giordano had an impressive run in the Cross-County Challenge at the University of Scranton over the weekend. Giordano earned CSAC Offensive Player of the Week honors for the 4th time in her career. She hit the game-winning shot in a comeback victory over Wilkes-University on Saturday. The 2015-2016 CSAC Rookie of the Year followed that performance up with 19 points and 11 rebounds in a 72-70 overtime win over King's College on Sunday. The Pacers went 2-1 on the week, and Giordano led the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals over that time.
Both the men's and women's basketball teams are through 5 games so far this season and will match up with Centenary University tonight in a doubleheader. I went to practice yesterday and caught up with the team's respective coaches.
The Marywood women's basketball team is off to a solid start this season, going 3-2 in their first 5 games, including wins against Keystone College, Wilkes University, and King's College.
The Pacers women's basketball team is very young. They have a sophomore, Gabby Giordano, who has been a star for the team this year, having 19 points in a double-double performance against King's College on Sunday, and she's also averaging almost 12 points a game so far this season.
We're a very young team, and I think we started off a little slow and trying to kind of find our identity as a team. And we've had some players step up over the last couple games. Gabby Giordano, Katie Nealon, Natasha Hessling, Lissa Olson, Lisa Staken, every one of almost everybody has stepped up and really bought into us preaching hard work and focusing in on one play at a time. And I think over the weekend were 2 huge wins for us to get moving forward into our CSAC play tomorrow.
As for the men's basketball team, it hasn't been as good a start as they had hoped, as they're winless through their first 5 games, but their improvement thus far has been an encouraging sign to the coaching staff.
The Pacers men are off to a rough start this year, but they have looked to Connor Schroyer for some leadership as he leads the team in scoring with over 19 points a game. He scored 30 in a game against Hunter College earlier this season and 20 in the loss to King's College last week.
In spite of our record right now, I'm really encouraged with the way we're playing. I feel like we're finally coming together as a team. This last game, this last loss that we had, we finally played defense for 40 minutes, so that's encouraging. I think, you know, if we could get our defense shaped up, we'll be a pretty good team. And heading into league play now, it's encouraging. I feel like we're one of the better teams in the league. We just have to learn how to win games. We have a very young team, so that's a struggle for us right now.
Both the men and women's teams will be playing tonight in Insulaco Arena. The women will be playing at 6 o'clock, followed by the men at 8 o'clock. At Insulaco Arena, I'm Brendan Murphy, TVM News.
Last weekend, the Pacers swimming and diving team faced the University of Scranton. Bethany Wade has more.
It was senior day at Marywood-University as the swimming and diving team battled the University of Scranton in a landmark conference matchup. Seniors honored Brian Scholl, Paul Kraser, Joseph Bertowitz, Evan Remines, and Gabby Criazzo. Unfortunately for the Pacers, it was a royal sweep which handed them their 4th straight conference loss. Scranton's women took care of the Pacers 184-113, while the men won with a score of 177-100. Marywood did, however, notch a few wins. Scholl won the 100, 200, and 500 freestyle, and Kraser took the 100 backstroke and 53. Junior Courtney Snyder took both boards as she won both the 1-meter and 3-meter diving competition. Marywood travels to Massachusetts for the Worcester Polytechnic Institute Invitational from December 2nd through the 4th in non-conference action. For TVM News, I'm Bethany Wade.
The New York Jets came out of their bye week looking for a win over the rival New England Patriots on Sunday. In their first matchup of the season, the Jets and Patriots went back and forth all game long as both teams played very well. The momentum shifted to New England after a Robbie Anderson fumble as the Patriots went on to win in a nail-biter 22-17.
The Green Bay Packers snapped their 4-game losing streak in a 27-13 win over the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. Both the Packers and Eagles are now 5-6 in the season. Former Super Bowl winning quarterback Aaron Rodgers passed for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rookie quarterback Carson Wentz tossed for 254 yards and no touchdowns. Rodgers said in an interview after the game that the team could run the table. They're going to have to do that in order to make the playoffs. For Philadelphia, they have lost 6 of their last 8 games in a rebuilding season under a rookie head coach and a rookie QB. The Packers host the Houston Texans next weekend, while the Eagles travel to Cincinnati.
It has been speculated since he opted out of the remaining 2 years and $52.5 million of his contract that Yoenis Cespedes wanted to return to the New York Mets. And according to multiple reports, the Mets will re-sign the Cuban slugger to a 4-year, $110 million contract with a full no-trade clause. The Houston Astros, Washington Nationals, and New York Yankees were also among the teams rumored to have interest in Cespedes, but he ultimately chose to go back to the team that he loved. The re-signing of Cespedes solidifies the middle of the Mets lineup as they will look to make another run at the World Series in 2017.
Former 5-time Pro Bowler and 14-year NFL safety Darren Sharper was sentenced to 20 years in prison on Tuesday, according to Yahoo Sports. Sharper was arrested in January 2014 for an incident in October 2013 on sexual assault suspicion. A former judge in August sentenced him to 18 years after rejecting a 9-year global resolution sentence prosecutors had offered. Sharper was accused of drugging and raping a dozen women in Louisiana, Nevada, Arizona, and California and was found guilty of such crimes against 9 of those women. It was Sharper's final day in court where his accusers were able to address him directly. That is all for sports this week. Back to the desk.
Thanks, John and Brendan. Good luck to all of our Pacers for the rest of their seasons. How did endangered turtles from Cape Cod end up in South Carolina? We'll find out when we come back after the short break.
Thank you. Did you see anyone drop this? Did you move this? Thanks for helping us. No problem. Is this your nurse? You're welcome.
We do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. Now let's check in with our special correspondent, Alex, for the latest happening in technology news.
Thanks, guys. This year's almost over, so let's take a look at some of the hottest tech and biggest tech flops of 2016. For our top 4 best tech of 2016, starting off the list at number 4 is Pokemon Go. App developer Niantic and the Pokemon Company teamed up earlier this year to release Pokemon Go, which became a hit smartphone app in the US over the summer. The app brought a worldwide craze, and even though its popularity has died down in the last few months, Niantic continues to release updates. At number 3, Apple updated the MacBook this year with a cool new feature, the Touch Bar. This touch screen located at the top of the keyboard changes to meet the needs of specific apps and is overall just an interesting update to Apple's laptop line, which has been lacking any impactful updates until now. Number 2 on our list is the Tesla Motor Company. Earlier this year, Tesla officially updated the software of their cars with an autopilot feature, which allows the cars to drive themselves. This is a major step toward autonomous cars, which have been in development by other companies like Google for the past few years. Tesla also released 2 new vehicles for 2016, the Model 3 and Model X, expanding its current line to 3 vehicles. The company has been making a name for itself in both the automotive industry as well as tech, so it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. At number 1 on our best of list, the iPhone 7. Apple's newest phone was steeped in controversy since rumors started circulating about its features, which included an updated camera, display, and processor, and the removal of the headphone port. Most of the phone's upgrades were met with praise, but the latter caused a stir with most customers who felt that the loss of the port would be a nuisance. However, sales for Apple were greater after the phone's release than in the past 15 years. Starting off at number 2 for tech flops of 2016, Samsung's Galaxy Note 7 phone. The phone was released in August, and reports of the device catching fire spread through September, leading to a recall. Samsung is going to have to do a lot to bounce back from such poor PR. And number 1 for tech flops, Apple's wireless AirPod headphones. The wireless earpieces were announced alongside the iPhone 7 to replace the standard wired type after Apple removed the headphone port from their newest devices. However, with a high price of $160, and a delayed release, the AirPods aren't looking up to be the big holiday tech item for 2016 that Apple had intended. That's all for some of the hottest tech and biggest tech flops of 2016. Let's check back into the desk.
All right, thank you, Alex. A dozen troubled sea turtles rescued in Cape Cod are now in South Carolina being nursed back to health. The turtles were flown from Boston Sunday after they were found cold stunned in frigid waters. It's a condition similar to hypothermia, and the timing is right. South Carolina's aquarium in Charleston has a brand new sea turtle recovery center. Biologists there named the turtles after Star Wars characters, including Leia, Kylo, and Luke. The smallest of the bunch is Yoda, weighing 1.5 pounds. The turtles will stay at the hospital until they are 100% healthy. Treatment could last a few months or even up to a year, depending on the turtle's recovery.
1.5 pounds.
Yeah.
That's so adorable.
And he's Yoda. I mean, that's a great name.
That
for
is
a little
awesome.
guy.
Leia, Luke, that's adorable.
I
It's
know.
so cute.
It's a good bunch.
Seriously.
All right. Well, on behalf of all the TVM newscasts and crew, thank you for joining us this semester. To keep up with the latest news, events, and sports happening at Marywood-University, find TV Marywood on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Have a good break. We'll see you in the spring semester.